Alperen Sengun is the Bumblebee of the NBA. In the 2000 animated blockbuster The Bee Movie, there is a quote at the very, very beginning that states,
"According to all known laws of aviation, there is no way that a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground." The bee, of course, flies anyway, because bees don't care what humans think is impossible.
So just take the word bee and replace it with Alperen Sengun, and then take the word fly and replace it with playing basketball. And there you would essentially have the story of Alperen Sengun. Let's start out by defining his fat little body as a B/NBA player. As an NBA center, he's listed at 6'10", but is really closer to 6'9", with a 7-foot wingspan. Contrary to popular belief, he's actually got a decent vertical, but he's just not very explosive. He's an okay jump shooter, but really not great in any sense of the word. And the synopsis of his draft profile by NBADraft.net was essentially, he's too small to play center, and he's not quick enough to be a power forward. And his most glaring deficiency by far has to be his feet. This guy's lateral movement is probably the worst in the league at his position. So in a modern NBA that's dominated by long athletes and guys that are 7 feet tall and can play like guards and move like guards, those are some pretty big disadvantages to have off the bat. So how is this guy, who has the odds stacked against him physically, not only a contributor to an NBA team, but a starter? Well, let's just start with the fact that Alp does not care about the laws of aviation. Or I guess the laws of basketball. I mean, the guy's eating a milk steak here. Look at him.
Now I'm gonna want the milk steak boiled over hard.
He sees the prototypical center that is a Nick Claxton or a Daniel Gafford, and he says, no, I'm gonna be the opposite of that and cook. His flashiest attribute that really was not touted at all before he was drafted is his vision. Alp is the Duke of Dimes when it comes to post passing. And yes, I'm aware that Nikola Jokic exists. However, an Alp dime just has a little bit of extra pizzazz to it. If you're playing with Alperen Sengun, you must always be ready for the ball, because the moment you least expect you're about to get it, here it comes. Whether you're on the weak side for an open three, or if you're just cutting to the paint while Alperen happens to be making his move there, you're probably about to get the easiest bucket of your life. But the thing that surprises me the most about his vision is not that he's always aware of whatever guy is back cutting, but more so the sheer audacity of some of the passes that he has the gall to throw. Here, Alperen falls down and just kind of lobs this one over the top for Jabari Smith Jr. Insane. Truly, I want to know how many guys in the league will even attempt to throw this pass from the floor. I'm calling a timeout. Whether he's just making the right pass within the offense, or if he's creating something on his own by making guys commit or recognizing an intelligent cut, Alperen always finds a way to deliver in this aspect of his game. Look at the one more. Ugh, come here. So yeah, Alperen is an elite passer, especially at the center position, but there's much more to his game than just that. Alperen Sengun is no doubt one of the best post-up isolation players in the NBA. His footwork, his timing, his poise, his patience, everything is top-notch. Even when you think he's got nowhere else to go, Alp finds a way to shimmy on down to the rim. He's truly a Swiss Army knife with the ball on the block. He can be physical, get you up in the air, or he can razzle-dazzle you with his wide array of pump fakes and step-throughs and flashy footwork on the block. He's such a great passer that if you overplay him at all, he's finding the open guy for a bucket. When Alperen needs to be simple, he's simple. Sometimes he's just going to bump you and go right over the top. That's why he's got great touch. And other times, he needs a little extra pizzazz to get a bucket. One part of his game that often gets overlooked is his ability to utilize angles as a scorer in the post. Here we see Sengun getting downhill on Brandon Clark, and as he spins and notices the help defender coming from his strong side, Alperen just realizes, oh, I can just reverse pivot here, open up, and there's no defender on the left side, so free points, whatever. While we're on the topic of his scoring, he's been recently throwing this guy out there, the one-legged mid-range fader, for no reason. Look at him off a catch. It's like, nah, I don't want it. Actually, yes, I do. Cash. This is intriguing because if Alperen can become any kind of a floor spacer, whether it's from mid-range or from three, then the league is in trouble because he's already an elite post-up player, and any type of range for his game was going to open up everything for his teammates. He's definitely not a perfect player, especially on defense. He has areas where he can improve in for sure. He can get pushed around under the rim a little bit, and personally, I'd love to see a little more motive from him in general on both sides of the floor. But for Alperen, the good news is that the positives are starting to outweigh the negatives, and really it's getting to the point where it's not close. And for a guy that initially was not in the plan for the rebuild in Houston, he's done pretty well for himself. So well that if other teams don't plan for Alperen Sengun, he's going to give them buckets and he's going to cause problems offensively the entire game. How can you not root for a guy like that? Guys like Sengun are what make the NBA and basketball in general so great. Obviously, watching a 6'8" guard get isolation buckets, dunking on people, hitting step-back threes is objectively awesome. Watching a 19-year-old 7'5" kid waltz into the NBA and do things on a basketball court every night that just break my brain is awesome. However, there's just something about the weirdos. Something about the guys that shouldn't be good, but are. Maybe it's just me, but I love those types of players. If you love them too, subscribe, like, comment, let me know who you want to see next.